You. Been thinking about you, so I figured we'd take a look at the month ahead. Stay tuned to the end for some sign-specific information. Okay, so a big part of September is going to be gaining some clarity and trimming some hedges around things that we haven't necessarily been keeping track of as far as resources. Let's run that back. Okay, if you're here, chances are August was a pretty shadowy month for you where it felt like you were feeling your way through the darkness. The good news is September's showing up as a much clearer road to travel. When we have a reversed Four of Cups here at the center of the reading, there's going to be a lot of attention drawn to resources that may have been there the whole time, but we didn't properly account for them, or we were more fixated on the representation of that thing rather than the lived experience. In team sports, it can be tempting to evaluate a win on the basis of the scoreboard. But if you're actually trying to get in touch with where you want to improve and where you want to tighten your game, your individual performance may not manifest in a winning score. When we bring this analogy into real life, there are aspects where we might have been documenting L's from a standpoint of a holistic view of what we're trying to accomplish. But we haven't really dialed into the nature of our game and whether or not we're performing on the level that we want. And that gives us different feedback about what the strategy is moving forward, particularly if it's a team sport. The Justice card showing up in the past is demonstrating for us what our resources look like when we're stumbling our way through the dark and who we can count on to shed light on the moment. The challenge is in understanding which one of these relationships to pour into, because they represent an aspect of opportunity or balance that we've been looking for. When I see a reverse Four of Cups being challenged by a Two of Cups, in that realization being made clear, we might need to let go of some things that we were investing in that we thought were going to turn out a better result, or maybe a more intimate result, something that we could have worked with. But it looks like we're being told to have our investments. With the Eight of Cups showing up as the energy that we would be striving to move into, and the Hanged Man showing up as that subconscious motivation, there's this awareness that everything that we need on the board isn't necessarily here yet. So it's important to clear additional space to make sure that when those pieces arrive, we can place them accordingly. And while it's so important for us to get to trimming these additional pieces that don't belong, we're striving to find the language around how to best express that, because it doesn't quite feel the way that it's felt in the past when our expectations are failed. Essentially, there's this idea of it like not necessarily being the other person's fault. And that can make it a little bit difficult because of how empathy shows up when we have experienced L's that weren't our fault. We just maybe shouldn't have been playing that game. When we look at the advice card being a Ten of Swords, it can indicate that if we don't make the right decisions now, it's going to come back to cut us far deeper than is really necessary. Some of the cuts that we have to do revolve around us fessing up to some of the ideals that we were striving for that we may not have been able to reach, or holding others accountable to things that they set forward that they aren't meeting their own expectations on. They set forth this image of what they were going to be able to do, and they haven't quite come through. And because of that, it can be a little bit difficult to feel like you need to cut people off in terms of support. The thing that is most important right now is you maintaining a flow. And if someone is doing work to drag you under, it's important for you to take account for what's in the boat and do what's best. With so many cups and swords on the table, and with this reading in particular ending out with the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, there's a lot of prompt for new ideas to come to the forefront by way of new inspiration. But sometimes for us to get poured into, we need to cut a hole in the vessel for things to pour out. Some of the love that we're looking for might be being held up in spaces that we have dammed away in order to protect them, but in not allowing anyone to access them, we can't get poured into in those ways either. As a matter of fact, it kind of makes the whole reading look like a call out to the avoidant, where there's a lot of prompt to take a look at what things we might have been avoiding, what things we might be ignoring in favor of where we need to make cuts so that we can get poured into the right way. But we're probably feeling avoidant because we're around a bunch of resources that aren't capable of pouring in, and so it makes us feel like it's withheld, when in reality it's just not available to us. The outcome being the Ace of Swords is another indicator that there's clarity on the way as we continue to move forward, but it's definitely going to require us being a little bit bold about where we make those cuts. And some of those cuts may just be ideas that we need to release in order to enact a new set of ideas. As a matter of fact, that feels like more of the prompt than necessarily people needing to be cut. It's more about the ideas that we've attached to people that we probably need to let go of, particularly as with my Ten of Swords card, there's this idea of the affected or the one who is wounded sinking below the waves. And it makes me think about how water dilutes everything, including blood in the water. And so eventually all of this stuff gets washed out, but it's more important that it takes place in a field that can happen. And sometimes that can be our deep subconscious, where we just need to let things go and let bodies die as they drift beneath the surface. It's a little bit more morbid than usual, but I'm hoping that it's resonating. Now, like I said in the beginning, I had a little bit of something new this month. So what I wanted to do is do reverse cards for every sign, going over some of the difficulties that we'll be facing going into September. If your reverse card resonates with you, you can get an Align by Sign download going over deep solutions on all of the signs. You can check out your sun, your moon, your rising at www.nil.art. With that said, let's get into it. Now, as last month we started with the Leos, it's only right that we start with Virgo. So Virgo, here's your reverse card of the month. All right, Virgo. The reverse Six of Swords is warning us of obsessive thoughts holding us back from moving forward into the new fields that we claim we're trying to move into. While you've been leaning on your perfectionist tendencies in order to better manifest the reality that you can be proud of and move through with confidence, it's important not to be too attached to the luggage that you need to take in order to go on the journey. If you've gotten to a point of being over-specific about where we are going and why, you're going to be more intent on bringing things with you that may be available to you along the way, making it easier for you to pack light. Remember, the farther you're trying to go, the more conscientious we need to bring about the tools that we bring with us. Head over to the website for an Align by Sign breakdown around how you can take advantage of the energies present in September to properly move through this period in time. It's pretty sensitive. Libra. Libra, reverse card for the month, the Page of Coins. Finding answers to the structure that you're looking for could be a little bit difficult if we're afraid to get our hands dirty and actually apply ourselves to solutions. Theory is great, but experimentation is always required for us to gain clarity. And September is giving us a month where we can expand into experimentation as long as we're not emotionally attached to the outcome. While experimentation is going to be mandatory in order for us to succeed, knowing our chemistry is going to be instrumental in running efficient experiments so that we can get to the solutions and move on to application. Head over to the website for the Align by Sign so that we can get into how we can make a better mix happen. Scorpio. It doesn't feel great, but accountability is going to be key for the month of September. With a reversed Five of Coins, we may be looking for changes in structure to come from the outside when in reality, we're the only ones who know the space intimate enough to make those adjustments. While it's easy to blame others for what they're not showing up with, if you haven't fully extended yourself and knowledge, you can't really complain about people showing up with redundancies. Head over to the website and download your alignment. We could get some more insight on who we want to bring into these journeys and what they can contribute. Sagittarius, nothing good comes quick. So we're going to need to adjust expectations around speed if we want to keep our sanity during this point in time, especially when you're talking about big vision goals. Have you gotten realistic about projected timelines? How long it takes to do a thing, how long it takes to prepare? Getting those things in order can help rein in our fire so that we can make sure it's sustainable and our passion lasts us throughout the task. Head over to the website for an Align by sign. We can talk more about the type of fuel that can help make it through the month of September. Capricorn. September represents a time for us to truly unleash our inner savage. We have been hiding in a cave for far too long, and while that aggression is built up, it's actually probably going to serve us if we can best figure out where to aim that aggression so that we can tear off with that destruction serving a higher, greater good. The frustration that you're feeling can cause you to want to break something beautiful. Just make sure it's not you. Head to the website for an Align by sign so we can talk about how to aim those destructive tendencies. Aquarius, when our vision is attached to what makes everyone else feel fulfilled, we move through spaces that are supposed to feel like home, feeling like a stranger. The World card in reverse is highlighting how alien we might feel in spaces that other people describe as being perfect. It's not that you're ungrateful, you just need to create spaces that are truly designed for you, not everybody else, so you can get that time alone. And sometimes that means getting rid of some things that other people might be attached to. It's hard to tell people no, but those boundaries can be required. Head over to the website and we can talk more about where to put the walls up. Pisces, our card was a little bit stubborn. And it makes sense because it's not the easiest for Pisces to come up with those hard boundaries and solutions. But with the Emperor being our card overturned, there's a reinforcement in our confidence and ability to set the bounds of our kingdom. No one can walk into your home if you don't open the door. And it's important for you to remember to lock it against intruders that otherwise wouldn't respect the space. If you're looking for some help to narrow down the guest list, grab an Align by sign on the website and we could talk about who should definitely not be allowed in the room. Aries, it's not easy to move forward on things when we're not being celebrated for the strongest tools that we bring to the table. But when other people can't see your genius, it's not an excuse not to wield it. It just may tell you what rooms are ready for you to bring your impact. Being laser focused on priorities that you may have set at a different time can deter you from making an impact in the spaces that are best set to receive what you have to offer. I'm not telling you not to run through the wall, just saying that you got to pick the right one. I have a whole deconstruction plan on the website, so check it out. Gemini, we've been pretty susceptible with the recent retrograde closing to judge ourselves and feel like our efforts have been scattered all over the place. And while that may even be true, it can be important to recognize that we've still progressed and moved forward. Our practice has definitely yielded some results. It's just not yielding results in the ways that we would hope, given how much we might have poured ourselves in. If we're willing to put the work down for just a little while, we may see that some of what we've been pouring our effort into actually grows really naturally, and we don't need to bother with it at all. A good gardener focuses on the parts of the garden that need attention. The grass is greener where you water it, but if there's no need for water, then maybe the grass is green enough. I got some more gardening tips on the website if you're interested. Getting a line by sign. Taurus, it's time to put the anxieties to bed. The Nine of Swords shows up whenever we're getting too caught up in the narratives that we've told ourselves or the stories that other people have told us that we're very attached to. And with the reverse Nine of Swords, it can showcase that our anxieties are not just affecting us, but affecting the energy in the space around us, causing other people to believe what we've put forward. It's more important to recognize in these moments that people trusted you and trust your projection. So what you declare is going to happen, especially if it's because of anxiety around how you will show up, is probably very much going to happen. How can you imagine a better outcome? If you want some collaboration, head over to the website for a line by sign. I got some ideas. Cancer. Cancer, all is not lost. With a reverse star, it can be hard to figure out how to make our way out when we feel like we're drowning. While you're not responsible for how the stars shine in the sky, if you're not able to get yourself to the surface, it'll be really hard for you to get there in order to find your point of navigation. Now is probably not the time for us to be caught up at the depths of our emotional baggage and weight. Sometimes rising to the surface and allowing yourself to take things just a little less seriously can be huge in providing some direction as far as calmer waters. Get some help aligning your compass on the website. Leo, with the reverse Six of Coins being the card of September, what we feel is owed is on its way back. And while it may feel like we've been looking out, trying to figure out where our return on investment is going to come from, I think that when the payback occurs, it'll be very clear to us that it was always us betting on us that got us the win. Think less about how you can replicate those successes by way of who you engage with, and think more on how you can replicate the success based on how you engaged when you showed up. I got some more insight if you're interested on the website. Grab a line by sign.